We were born in the shadows of Babylon. Left behind. Forgotten. Curious things happen in the dark. Soon, daylight will be forgotten. As darkness consumes the light, the fog sets in. There is an evil that skulks just beyond the unimaginable. You are more afraid of what you cannot see. Maybe the ghost of Harold Ramis can save us. But for now, our only hope is the cast of 6 Degrees of Film Degrees. Tessa and Eric might save us. But John Hurt told me that Ben Gaddafi is a real asshole.
What the fuck?
Let us pray we make it out alive. I also heard he's afraid of the dark. He's just a stupid bedwetter. But in the dark, your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind creates your deepest fear and sends it through, revealing what lies in the thick of the fog.
Alright, we got another episode of 6 Degrees of Film Degrees. I'm Ben, being punked by John fucking Hurt again. I'm sitting here with Tessa and Eric.
Hello.
Hello.
And today, I'm gonna pick up my self-esteem from John Hurt's fucking bashing, and we're gonna cover Ghostbusters Afterlife.
What did you do to John Hurt?
Apparently, it pissed him off, apparently.
You hurt his feelings?
Well, I guess I didn't pay him enough. Wow. John Hurt's Ghost.
You didn't go see Hellboy in the theaters enough.
Apparently not.
Enough. But yeah, it's Ghostbusters Day.
Ghostbusters! Yeah.
Who are you going to call?
My movie. I picked this.
Your movie. So give us another explanation as to why you chose this.
Well, the obvious for me was I just never had the time to go see it, and it was a reason to watch it, and watch it thoroughly. Just because I didn't get to see it in theaters, and I still firmly believe watching in the theaters is the only way to really give a movie a chance, because you have to engage. But instead, I watched this at midnight by myself in my basement.
And one of my dreams is to have a home theater. Like
That was the point of this room we're in right now.
Big ass TV. Bark. Excuse me.
It's got surround sound.
Surround sound. That freaks me out when I'm playing a horror video game. Like something creeps up behind me and I literally turn around and look behind the couch. I fucking hate it. I love it, but I hate it.
Hard pass.
Right.
I ain't playing that
But
shit.
no, and the other reason I wanted to go with the Afterlife instead of and the connecting being Bill Murray from the previous episode of Tootsie. Obviously, there's probably like 1,001 episodes of something on the original Ghostbusters, and that's why I wanted to do this one instead. Obviously, it's newer and probably less talked about. And I like I said, I heard not the great things about the later, newer Ghostbusters one.
2016.
The 16 one, I didn't give that one a chance. I didn't want to ruin anything for myself, just because Ghostbusters is definitely one of those movies where I used to watch it on my birthday every year with a bottle of Southern Comfort and a Red Bull. It was my ritual in my early 20s.
That sounds like fucking poison.
Dude, that's how I would start out my night before I went out before my birthday.
God damn.
The night before, God.
There was
24-hour primer.
It was
Jesus.
it was my pregame before I went out that night.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the night before.
The night
I
before.
thought you
No,
were
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the day before, and I'm like, we can't do that anymore.
No, I can't even look at Southern
kidding
Comfort
me?
anymore. But no, yeah, that'd be my pregame before I went out after I turned 21. Was I'd drink Southern Comfort with the Red Bull and watch Ghostbusters. So I went into this. I heard great things about it, and from trusted opinions of Ghostbuster fans. And yeah, it was my reason to give it a try.
You know, Ghostbusters was almost called Ghost Blasters.
That'd have been dumb.
Here.
Are you troubled by strange noises in the night?
Do you experience feelings of dread in your basement or attic?
Have you or any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost? If the answer is yes, then don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and call the professionals.
Ghostbusters!
So when they were recording that scene, they did like I think 3 or 4 takes with different names, and they were trying to figure out which one was the best because a lot of the movie was shot already, and they never mentioned Ghostbusters, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's when they were deciding what to name it, and I'm so glad they didn't go with Ghost Blasters.
No, I don't. That's like parallel universe shit where it's called Ghost Blasters.
Right. So I found that clip on YouTube, and I clearly used it for this because it's just funny. But Ghostbusters flows off the tongue better than Ghost Blasters.
Right.
Ghostbusters.
It sounds like Crossfire, one of those games.
It sounds like the new Nerf gun.
It's the great value Ghostbusters.
God.
No, the big thing I liked about this movie was its giant tribute to Harold Ramis, and I fucking love Harold Ramis.
Oh, he's great.
Dude, one of my buddies, Gunner, him and I like literally bonded when we were younger just over fucking Harold Ramis in Orange County.
Yes. Sean, we are the same height. That is neat.
The lights are just so vivid.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
Oh my God,
you are missing out.
This was a good tribute to Harold Ramis, though. I
And
fucking loved it.
Oh, it was fantastic, and it was such a good sequel to the original. Mm-hmm. And even though there was like a true sequel, I thought it was great. Like this movie is so perfect.
Well, and that brings me to my point that one of the things that made Ghostbusters so good is that they added horror elements to it, like spooky things that are actually like kind
Actually
of
spooky
or creepy, you know. So that's where I think the 2016 one failed. They made it more like a Scooby Doo movie than they did. Because remember the first one, the scene with Sigourney Weaver, and in her apartment, the eggs are popping, and then she gets pulled into the chair, like the arms come out of the chair. And I know we're about to get into it, but
That's how Harold Ramis dies.
yeah. I fucking loved that.
We begin with who seems to be Egon Spengler. Captures an entity in a mine and floors it back to his farmhouse. Waiting on the porch, he lures a separate creature where he tries to activate a trap in his front lawn, but the power fails. He then runs inside, concealing his ghost trap before being attacked. Callie, his estranged daughter, played by Carrie Coon, gets notice of his passing the same day she is being evicted from her Chicago apartment. And she moves her children to his farm just outside Summerville, Oklahoma. Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard, gets a job to be around a girl named Lucky he becomes enamored with, and Phoebe, her daughter, enrolls in a summer science class taught by Gary, who's played by Paul Rudd. There, she meets her new friend, Podcast. Phoebe discovers Gary is a seismologist by snooping on him as he works. And the story unfolds.
Bum, bum, bum.
The little girl that plays Phoebe, I think is so perfect as
McKenna Grace?
Spangler's daughter or granddaughter.
Right.
Anyway, I like I said, I can't emphasize enough how great of a tribute that this movie was to Harold Ramis.
Because it was dedicated around him.
Oh,
The whole film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just starts out great. I thought the most shakiest actor for this was the kid from Stranger Things. I know he's like hot right now, and then he's in the
So hot right now.
right.
Yeah, so they just threw him in there.
They just threw him in there as a name, and I guess it was probably his first real feature. He wasn't that impressive, I guess.
He was a fill-in because Phoebe was the
main interest, and
she was
that actress she's good.
She was the protagonist? Antagonist.
Protagonist.
Correct. Yep. Words.
But yeah, she's been in a lot of other scary / horror films.
Has she? I didn't look
looked her
up.
I didn't
Yeah.
look up her shit very much.
Yep. And then she was also in Captain Marvel. She was the younger version, I think, in a flashback. I saw
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So she's got some big name films under her belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at the films that she's been in, she's definitely more towards the suspense, the darker films.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good fit for her.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out was Ivan Reitman, the director of the first Ghostbusters. He was producer for this,
Okay.
and his kid helped write and directed this one, Jason Reitman.
Right.
Oh.
I think, like, keep it in the family. I thought
Keep
that
it
was
in the
fucking
family.
awesome.
Dude, one thing I really loved about this movie was the fucking soundtrack for the entire film is literally from the first one.
Most of it, like, once you start getting, when Phoebe starts finding little hints, you get
But
a
it's
little
all-
bit of the old soundtrack, and then as it gets full nostalgia, it's
Right, but it's still like all the transition scenes or filler scenes, like in the original film, they did the same shit and same soundtrack, and that's what got me about it. It was a modern take on that original film.
Right.
That's exactly what I have in my notes. I'm like, it's a modern spin on Ghostbusters, and I mean, it's
and it was done
entertaining.
so well.
Yeah, it's entertaining for both kids and adults. Like the throwback is real, and I think it pays tribute really well.
Like you mentioned in the beginning, how Harold Ramis dies with the hands coming out of the chair. That's what terrified me from the original.
Well, and the way that they did the whole thing with him was just. I'm not trying to say him being dead is like a good thing, but I'm saying that the way that they spun it with him not being alive anymore.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Fantastic. Like how, like, because I seen he was in the cast listing. I was like, what are we doing here?
How'd they do
and
that?
By the way, CGI nowadays to fill in fucking people that aren't alive anymore is just getting so good.
It's getting better and better. I remember in 2003 in one of my animation classes, they were talking about how Hollywood has been buying up the rights of dead actors because they know that 20, 30 years at this time in 2003, 20, 30 years from now, you're gonna see them in cinema and blah blah blah.
Right.
And studios will own the rights. Like they own the rights to Bruce Lee, John Wayne, Marilyn Monroe. What's her name from Breakfast at Tiffany's? She did a Dove commercial, a Dove chocolate commercial.
I don't know.
The actual somebody
remember her fucking name right
screaming
now.
at me, but
Well-
they had her face superimposed on somebody else.
Oh, they've just gotten
I
so
gotta
good
look
at
it
it.
up
Like,
now.
you know, you almost want to like give Star Wars shit because they were kind of like the big ones at first to try to like really shove it. Like, the one with about the Death Star plans, that one, Rogue One.
Yep.
Like where they had, they had Tarkin and
Audrey Hepburn.
and obviously the dude who plays Tarkin's been dead for probably 40-some years now.
Right.
He was old as fuck in the original Star Wars. And then just from there on, it's just been great. Like the latest, like, you know, the Luke Skywalker, the younger version of Mark Hamill in these episodes of like Mandalorian and Boba Fett are fucking good. And then with this, because I mean they got a little leniency with Harold Ramis though, because he was anytime you seen him, he was an apparition or it was like a shadow of himself when he was live at the start of the movie.
Right, or an actor with the Egon wig.
And with this, it looked so good. It looked fantastic, and the fact that in their like world, most of the time the ghosts don't really talk very much. And Harold Ramis had 0 lines, and it was just like kind of perfect. I don't know. It was done so well.
But then we get to them being evicted. And
Oh, God, what a bad day.
Well, I just love the speech that she's given to the landlord, and he's feeling sympathy for him or for the family. But then he kind of leans over and he sees Phoebe digging into the wall into the electrical. And I'm like, busted.
Right.
Sorry. Oh my God. So they get word that they have to go up to, or I guess go down to, since they're from Chicago, go down to Oklahoma, Somerville. Did you look up if Somerville's a real town, or did they make this up?
I do not know.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to look it up right now.
All right. But it's absolutely gorgeous out there. Absolutely gorgeous. And I like that. One of the things that I noticed about this movie is the cinematography and the color grading and just how gorgeous it looks. Especially, like, we'll get into it, but the scene where Kid from Stranger Things takes the car out for the... Takes the car out. I did it twice. I'm moving my hand. Takes the car out for the first time. And he's going through the field.
Right.
They even made it a poster. It's a gorgeous shot.
Oh, yeah.
So them coming up to the house, and they get inside, and they're like, "Oh man, this place is a shithole." And blah, 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 blah. I'm looking around like, this isn't that bad.
No.
A couple books stacked in the corner, a chair, dirty chair. Oh, life is rough, guys.
Okay,
What
so
the fuck?
I've got an answer for you on Somerville.
Okay, fake.
It is not a real town. In fact, Ghostbusters Afterlife was entirely filmed in and around Calgary in Alberta, Canada.
Oh wow,
No.
Yeah, so not in Oklahoma.
fucking fakers.
Not in Oklahoma.
The fact that they couldn't do Rick Moranis for this movie, and then their hard replacement was Paul Rudd, I thought was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because Rick Moranis couldn't be the seismologist in Oklahoma. you know,
Right.
But he is replacing his character in essence. I get what you're saying.
The
mouth.
silly quirkiness of Paul Rudd, and obviously he's not
Paul Rudd has entered the fight.
right. He's not as timid as Rick Moranis' character was, but I mean, and then they stayed true to the whole like just how Gozer had to come into play. Like, you know, they basically, you know, they found another man, another woman. You know,
You were jumping way ahead.
No, I know, but that's fine. But because this movie on the whole isn't very long, it's very to the point. At least it is to me, just because it flies in the sense of if you've seen the original Ghostbusters, like that movie to me flies nowadays, just because it's pretty to the point. And this movie kind of followed that same outline. It didn't really bullshit. And it's detailed all that much, which I appreciated. At first, I thought they were going to kind of stick with the kid from Stranger Things. He was going to be kind of like the main role kid. At first, I couldn't tell. Like, they were really at a crossroad of they could do the girl as the main, they could do the Stranger Kids thing as the main. And I'm very happy they stuck with the girl, Phoebe.
I am too.
And that's where it almost lost me. Because like that, when I was watching it, I was just like, I mean, I don't really care for this kid that much in Stranger Things, so it's just like, how can I really get behind him?
Well, even
this?
in the trailer, they marketed him big time because he's mostly in the trailer.
Huge face.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Right
You want to show Paul Rudd, and you want to show Paul Rudd,
Finn Wolfhard. Did I say his name right?
Wolfhand, Wolfhand,
Wolfhand.
something. I can't remember.
No, it's Wolfhard. It's Wolfhard.
Wolfhard. But anyway, Finn
Wolfhard.
You want to show those two, and then the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and then maybe one of the Terror Dogs, and then you've got yourself a film.
Yep.
But you know, back to the story. Like they get to the house and they're walking around, and like I was saying, they thought it was just this shithole of a house. It's disgusting on the inside, and I'm looking around like this is fine.
I know. I'm like, this is awesome.
Right? I want this house.
Right.
But also, if you, like, to get back to where Eric was talking about, like, who are they going to follow? Which kid? If you really pay attention, Phoebe's wearing the glasses that Egon Spengler wore.
A similar style, because she actually does find his glasses in his
holds them up, and they're identical.
They're identical. So they did that strategically, and they tried to make her hair look like his.
Yeah.
Like, so to emulate him. So that's where I was kind of like,
and she's the genius of the family.
I think we're going to follow her.
Generation.
Yeah. Yeah, because she kind of, I mean, she's working on, like, the electric stuff at her apartment or whatever. I can fix that when it all blows up.
Right.
You know? So she kind of gives off the vibe of, like, oh, okay, that's where those genes went.
Right.
She's got them all. But I also wanted to bring up, before we, like, get really big into the house, even before they get to the house, we have to talk about the signage out front. You remember?
Oh, the dirt.
Yeah.
The dirt
Like all the signs that are at the entrance to the driveway or whatever.
There's like Revelations.
Yep, Revelation 6:12 prophecy that's written on the junk in front of the farmhouse. And it's actually the same Bible verse that Ray quotes in the Ghostbusters in 1984. When Ray is seen again, he has the verse tattooed on his arm. Mm-hmm. So it's
they even close up on it. Yeah, when they first showed Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
So.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up what they were putting down.
That's the link, but I love that, and now I kind of want to put those signs outside of our house.
Oh, that'd be great. Especially you live kind of in a secluded enough area where you could.
No, I've got an idea that I'm going to do for Halloween, and I'm going to leave them up all year round.
Oh, great.
Make cloaked statues and put them popping over the fence, like just at the shoulder, and just have like 5 or 6 of them looking over
along our 6-foot privacy fence. No one really comes to our house right now, but they really won't then.
Well, at the start with, to jump back a little bit, when Egon died, I just remember, because I remember at first, obviously, like I've already kind of given away like how I feel about how the film played out, but I remember at first when they first showed like the fucking terror dog chasing after him when he was like leaving the ruins or whatever. And then I remember thinking, because that's when I thought it was going to lose me, when it was going to get too crazy with the CGI. Because obviously, like,
it was subtle. It was basically just a nothing but moving dirt.
Yes, but it still had that kind of like meteorite-esque, color-esque to it. And that's where I didn't know if it was going to get... that's where I thought it was either going to get crazy or not. And I am just so happy that they just kind of stuck with... They just did updated versions of what they did in the 80s.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I loved that.
That was a huge thing that I read about while I was reading articles and doing some research for this one, is that they were big on practical effects, using as much practical effects as they possibly could. And I mean, even to the point of making like a realistic puppet terror dog out of foam.
Oh, they looked so good.
Yeah,
They looked great.
really wanted to put that at the forefront to probably avoid what you're talking about. It's,
Right.
losing people with the CGI, and it doesn't look
Well,
like
obviously,
you think it would.
the 16 one failed, and it seems like for that reason. And it was to the... Like I said before, I didn't even watch it because I didn't want that shit in my head. I heard just too many bad things, so...
It's okay.
It's like a
It's all
Scooby Doo
right.
movie.
Yeah,
It's like a live action Scooby Doo movie.
it is.
So
it was,
I'm
it was
dead
a one-time
serious.
watch.
That's how I took it. I was like,
We
whatever.
probably won't cover it on the podcast, but it's a one-time watch.
If you one of you fuckers picks it. But anyway,
spite you.
we are
Myself.
more ADD than usual today.
Okay, so we're going through with them getting to the house.
Yeah, they're in the
It's a
house looking
pit.
around.
The kids are like, "What the hell?" And they're. I think they even say like, "We're only gonna be here for a week, right?" And their mom is like,
This is where we live now.
"Maybe forever."
Right?
So they have to.
They find out it's worthless. And
Yeah. They find out from the real estate woman that comes in that.
It was Annie Potts.
Yep.
Yeah, she was their secretary in the original one.
So she has to come and basically tell them like this house is a money pit. It ain't worth shit.
and she wasn't the realtor. She was in
She was
charge
the
of
one-
his estate.
His
Oh,
estate,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
And she looks fantastic.
She
by the way.
does.
Yeah.
Always has.
I think she looks better fucking now than she did when she was younger. I'm into it.
We've all grown up.
Hey, mama. And so then Phoebe goes to summer school, and gangly Stranger Things boy Finn goes and gets a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trevor.
Because he's bonerific about some girl that works there
Right.
at that diner, or it was like a
It's a kid job of some sort.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's when you meet Paul Rudd, and he doesn't. He's like, most of these kids are stupid. So then he wheels in the television, and he's like, I couldn't find something to watch, so I found this in the teacher's lounge. This is a great movie about a dog who mauls children.
No, he was like, since this school is still on VHS.
Oh yeah,
Yep. So he plays Cujo
Oh, man.
for the kids.
I feel like Paul Rudd, when they approached him about this, like, yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife, he's like, I can just go fanboy about Ghostbusters for a film. And
That's
my
exactly
role.
what he did, because he actually, I read that he turned down the chance to reprise his role of Tommy Doyle in Halloween Kills to do this movie instead.
Funny.
I would do the same thing in a heartbeat.
He turned
Yeah.
it down and was like, nope, I'm doing Ghostbusters Afterlife, and lost that chance.
You mean I get to be Rick Moranis inside of a dog? Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was all about it. Let's see what else we have to. Oh, I also wanted to add that each of the main child actors is supposed to emulate one of the original Ghostbusters.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like podcast is Bill Murray.
podcast.
No,
is supposed to
podcast
be
was-
Ray
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Ray, duh.
yeah, and then
Fucking Stranger Things boy is Bill Murray then.
yep, Trevor.
I'd say or
emulates-
Winston.
Trevor emulates Winston, and Lucky emulates Peter.
Really?
Yeah,
Apparently
I
I
figured.
just fucked it up.
I don't know. That's just what I read. It's what the internet says. It's what IMDb says, actually.
I'm dumb.
No, you're fine. But I do love podcasts though, because he says something.
Oh my
When-
god, he's so funny.
He's like when talking about grandfather, he died of natural causes, or did he die of unnatural causes? Foreshadowing. But podcasts, one thing I love about podcasts is that he's making fun of us three goobers.
Right.
Yep,
It fucking-
exactly.
We're just recording and talking, and maybe somebody will listen. We really found our voice on episode 47.
I love that.
And we're on episode 7. Fuck my life.
Podcast is hilarious because he's this short little dorky goofy kid with spiky hair, and all his equipment is wrapped around him all the time, and he's got a microphone in everyone's face, but he's quick and witty and funny, and I mean, yeah, he's definitely making fun of podcasters like us, but
Oh yeah.
but
But
he's
it was
also
great.
into his own thing. Like he kind of understands
Dude,
that
his
he's an outcast.
Polaroid
a
glasses
little
were the
bit.
best. He had those Polaroid glasses where
Oh,
they,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was cool.
But you know the greatest thing about him is that like he had a show about conspiracy theories and this and that, and then Dan Aykroyd, sorry to jump ahead, he turns out to be his only subscriber. And I love that fact because Dan Aykroyd is a huge conspiracy theorist in real life.
Oh,
Like huge. That like he's the one who wrote Ghostbusters, and so he took all these lores and conspiracy theories that he had and he threw them into this. But I mean he goes as far as down the Crystal Skull rabbit hole. Talks about aliens all the time. Like he's huge into the occult.
raise a colt.
So
Yep.
of course he would be podcast's number
Only
one /
subscriber.
Only.
Right.
You're my
Fan.
only subscriber.
Yeah, I love podcasts.
What's this thing? It
it's a
was
great
like
addition.
Babe, or it was it BEW or like 2 U's BEUU. He's like, oh BEW. He's like, I love that show.
That's you?
Yeah, podcast is great, and I think it's fitting that he becomes Phoebe's friend. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit more outspoken, where she's very shy and reserved.
But one thing that caught me off guard was Phoebe says that she does not believe in ghosts or anything. I'm
Right.
like,
She's
but
a
how-
logical mind. That makes sense.
But considering what happened in New York in the 80s, you'd think the entire world would talk about that. Like that would be the thing. Like how you asked your parents where were your parents when they landed on
Well-
the moon, or when Kennedy was assassinated, or when people ask you like where were you when 9/11 happened. You know,
Right.
it'd be one of those situations
Well,
where were you when the ghosts of New York happened?
And I think that was kind of like a point of Paul Rudd's character, was because he was kind of there to point out the generational gap of it all. Mm-hmm. Because throughout the movie, like with the older cast, they talk about how like basically they were, they mentioned that they were like maybe too good at ghost busting, and then so like their necessity got kind of phased out, and it's then through time, then why would the younger generations even know about it then?
Oh, because it was a huge deal in New York. I almost destroyed the city. That's my thing. Like that would be
Right.
a major event like 9/11 that people would talk about.
Yeah.
So
Maybe she's
that
thinking like, oh, it's just a hoax, or it's
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be. But then like she gets home and her grandfather's guiding her to the ghost trap. Mm-hmm. And then that's another thing where I'm kind of skeptical on it. She gets turned around in the chair and then she just starts. She takes that one part out and then magically solves the puzzle.
Realizes it's a puzzle, yeah.
I'm like, I would have been staring at that thing for 4 fucking days.
Well, I think that's a play at, again, the genius.
I get that, and
Yeah.
I'm making fun of myself here saying I'd stare at that for 4 days.
Right.
I can see it. I mean, but I had a lot of those kinds of puzzles when I was a kid. The ones where you move the pieces around and like that. So
But how the
I
fuck
could
did she know it was a puzzle that just automatically moved?
Because she's really fucking smart.
Well, this one pulls up, this one doesn't. Can I slide it? Okay. Yeah,
she's super fucking
That's
smart.
the high IQ for you. That's your problem solving.
Yep. So yeah, so they make it to the house in Somerville, and it's sufficiently creepy. I like it.
Well, they're already in the house now at this point. Like she finds the
Yeah, so she finds the hidey hole. And what's in the hidey hole?
ghost trap.
A ghost trap.
But they had the 2 kids had no idea what it was, and then Paul Rudd, they bring it to class.
Yeah.
Then he's like, hell yeah, is that a... He's like, that's a sweet replica.
Yeah. And then he sees he picks it up and he sees the little mist that
Yeah.
comes out of the top and drops it.
We got to hook this up to a car battery. Like that's his first instinct.
That's the immediate thought.
I'm like, you
So he takes it out to the buses.
right hooks up all the buses.
This is awesome. Also all the children are inside watching Cujo, and he's outside with these kids in a ghost trap hooking it up to a bus engine or a bus
Right?
battery.
We're going to fucking crack this egg.
At this time, they were watching or was it Problem Child? Not Problem Child. Child's Play.
Oh right,
Child's Play.
that was the next day. Yep, a new movie for the children,
What a great fucking summer class.
right?
Right.
Watch these
Paul Rudd's
VHS
having fun. Trevor, wanting a car, obviously. He's a teenager. I think we find out he's 15, right?
Yeah.
So he wants a car. He decides to start working on the Ecto-1 in his grandfather's garage. Phoebe and Podcast tour an abandoned mine, discovering ancient ruins there. Later, while playing chess, Phoebe discovers an entity in the house that guides her to the ghost trap her grandfather had hidden in the floorboards of the house. She takes it to summer school the next day where her podcast and Gary hook it up to a school bus battery, accidentally letting out one of Gozer's terror dogs. Phoebe later finds her grandfather's underground lab, discovering all the old Ghostbusters uniforms and equipment, including the proton packs. Huge nostalgic moment here. Her and podcast go by an abandoned warehouse to try it out, discovering a ghost they name Muncher. Trevor then picks them up in the Ecto-1, and they go after the Muncher to capture it. They are soon arrested for causing quite a bit of damage to the town while trying to catch the ghost, and Callie and Gary then pick them up from jail and take them home. Gary leaves and goes to Walmart, where he then encounters a terror dog. Phoebe, Podcast, Lucky, and Trevor go to the ruins, discovering a device that Egon made to keep Gozer from crossing over again. Callie discovers Egon's lab, but is possessed by the other terror dog. When the kids get home, they find her breathing heavily, sitting in a chair in the living room. Callie then jumps out the window and takes off.
I fucking love the subtle hints at the original film, especially with Keymaster specifically. So like when Paul Rudd runs out of the Walmart, and just like, this is why I compared it to Rick Moranis, just the silly way of him running out. Obviously he wasn't like, oh my god, it's like Rick Moranis was, but
God, you want to talk about this so bad.
I know. And then he runs out, and then the Keymaster just bursts out of the building almost exactly. Like if you line up...
It is, yeah.
If you line up that scene with that scene, it was identical. I fucking loved it.
How the Keymaster just slides a little bit, like bursts through the door and then slides.
Well, that's the brilliance of having your son do the remake, or not the remake, but the third installment.
Yep.
How could I not piss off Dad?
Right.
The exact way he did it.
Right.
Perfect.
But, all right, so they let out one of the terror dogs.
And Muncher.
Yeah, was Muncher in there too?
They let out Muncher out of the trap because Muncher was in the trap.
Yeah.
No.
But they let out one of the terror dogs also.
Right.
No, Zool was in the trap. Or I'm sorry, Keymaster was in the trap, and then I was Muncher in the trap. I guess I didn't catch that. I just noticed he was just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Muncher
he was
kind of
like
trap.
he was. I don't think he was.
wrong.
I think it was in the same. Well, Muncher is obviously a new version of Slimer.
Well,
Yeah.
It could have been when the terror dog went to the cave or the mine.
You probably released.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was my initial thought. So that's why when you said that, I was like, did I miss Muncher being in there too?
That's where he came out. Okay.
So they find the proton packs, and they're testing them out at that abandoned warehouse, and that's where the glasses that you like come in. Mm-hmm. Did I hit it? Did you hit it?
It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I think you got it, kid. I've been in situations where I'm hearing weird noises, like I'm outside of an abandoned warehouse because I just go looking for film locations all the time.
Right.
And I'd hear weird noises coming from there, and I'd just look at who I'm with. I'm like, let's get in the fucking car and go. I don't know what the fuck that is. Here are these two kids. I'm in my 20s at that point, and these two kids are like 12.
Yeah.
Let's go investigate. Fuck that. I'm gone.
No.
I have a tiny nuclear reactor on my back. Let's go.
Yeah, true. I guess that's a good point. I didn't have any weapons.
Oh, we skipped past the part with when she fixes the proton pack. And I loved
I don't remember that.
Well, it was in the basement, and the way like the way Harold Ramis's character.
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna fucking edit this out. So the way Spangler speaks to her is through the lamp. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "How did you manage to make this well?" And then the lamp just cuts, and then it's all of his degrees.
That's right, because that whole scene reminded me of a lighthearted Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
It had Stranger Things vibes for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
The lights trying to track her to where the
I'll show you
the
Evil Dead
trapdoor
2.
was.
Right.
I'll show you Evil Dead 2.
So I was like, oh, the lights.
It's just the whole thing, like, because Stranger Things is nothing but 80s nostalgia.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's what that scene was for me. One of my favorite horror comedies, Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
That scene was straight out of that, but a lot less horror. It was a more lighthearted.
It was. It was. Yeah.
But anyway, so what was it? So we get Muncher.
Yeah, they find Muncher in that warehouse.
Do you know who
Yeah.
plays Muncher?
There was somebody that actually played him.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So apparently, I think if I remember correctly, Jason Reitman actually ran into Josh Gad on another set I guess, or like walking between sets. I'm going to pull up a picture of Josh Gad right now. He also plays Olaf, this guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh Gad, he plays Olaf in the Frozen franchise.
I've never
He's
seen
on
it.
Broadway, Book of Mormon.
I've seen him in other things. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And so apparently they ran into him and they were like, do you want to voice one of our ghosts and like make all these funny noises? And his name's Muncher. Is that cool? And he was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And so,
Dude, if somebody asks you to be on the Ghostbusters set, you say yes.
You do not say no. And Josh Gad was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And so they hooked him up and he made all these like munchy gurgly ghost noises. And that's Josh Gad as Muncher.
That's fucking great.
I love Muncher because, and the first thing that I said when I saw Muncher the Ghost was, oh my God, he reminds me of the caterpillar from A Bug's Life.
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, he was done so well, too.
Chunky.
Beautiful butterfly.
It just makes me giggle. He's so chunky. Muncher facts.
Muncher.
Okay, so let's jump into when, have we talked about them like completely destroying the city yet?
No.
That was before the Walmart scene with Gary.
I know, I was jumping
But
Well, no, now we the nostalgia of the Ecto-1, because that's during that scene.
yes, yeah, they get the Ecto-1 up and running with the seat and all.
Trevor
Spangler
does.
fix it. Well,
Trevor
Spangler
does.
technically gets the wire and solders it
Right.
and twists it back in and then gets it started.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he fucking pops the hood down and it's like, fuck, go, dude.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Take off, brother.
I thought that Phoebe was very brave in that scene. Because
Oh, yeah.
she's just hanging out the side
Well,
of this
like-
car.
Like she said earlier, she on the outside, I seem like it doesn't bother me, but on the inside, I'm screaming.
I'm vomiting.
Yeah, or I'm vomiting.
On the inside, I'm vomiting.
So
What is she-
she's one of those children that emotions don't affect her the normal way.
Yeah.
Kind of like in
that's
Lucky
what
Number
she said.
11.
Well, she said, what was it? The overstimulation calms her.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, rewatching the film.
But yeah, Trevor picks him up in the Ecto-1, and they just go after this ghost.
Yep.
And they're
is summer.
destroying the city in the process. But my favorite part in that is when you see Muncher on the fire hydrant,
Yeah.
and he just looks at him like, he's slowly turning the cap on the hydrant, and
With his chunky fat ghost hand.
but his facial expression is,
I can't. I don't know why. It just cracks me up so much.
For not having Slimer, I thought Muncher was fine.
yeah.
thought it was
Muncher's
great.
great. It cracks me up.
I was thinking about it, though. Like, maybe Slimer was too gimmicky to try to put it in a new version of this.
Yeah, because the
I
way
think
they
he
would want to do it.
I think it would just look really silly.
But so they capture Muncher. Then they've got him in the ghost trap.
Then they get arrested. They get pulled over on their way home.
Oh, that's right. They get arrested.
Yep.
And so
License and registration, and he doesn't have either of them.
Mom and Paul Rudd
They're on
have
their
to
date.
have to come pick him up.
And Mom's pissed.
I like how Paul Rudd the whole time he's just fucking all into it. He says,
Yeah.
Is there one in there?
Yeah, Mom's pissed, and Paul Rudd is like, "Oh my God, you guys!"
He's all excited. Mom, I noticed in this movie though, like the kids are poking and poking and poking and poking and poking at her, and she seems like she gave up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't do what the fuck ever you want to do
Yeah,
until they're at the jail. Then what did you do?
yeah,
You weren't watching them.
yeah. I mean, and she's definitely going through this inner turmoil where, like, all right, her dad died, but she doesn't have a great relationship with her dad. She
Didn't even know him.
Yeah, I mean, and she has this visual of him. He's just an asshole. Phoebe is, finding out more about her grandfather and trying to.
And she relates. And then because
Yeah.
she doesn't relate to anyone technically in her family until that point.
Right. So you have this family turmoil of, well, Mom doesn't like Grandpa, her father. She
And
thinks
then
he's an
there's
asshole.
Well, all she knew was that he was a scientist and intelligent.
And he abandoned her.
Yeah.
So she's got those feelings, but then Phoebe comes in and she's learning more about him and how much like him she is.
But then there's the animosity with the mother as well because she sees that with her daughter. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of like undercurrent family drama.
And I like that it was out there and you knew it was there, but they didn't dive into it.
Right.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah, it wasn't the
'Cause
main focus of the film.
Every other movie does that.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah,
Every other
absolutely.
movie does that. But So Paul Walker, he drops them off, and then he goes
Paul
to
Rudd.
Paul Walker.
I said Paul Walker.
A different passed away actor.
Fast and Furious Afterlife. Oh my God. Sorry.
I like Paul Walker.
I did in Pleasantville. I thought he was great in Pleasantville.
What was that one movie where, man, it came out when we were younger. Him and the poster for the film was like him and this dude, and then it was like they were like surfer stoner dudes, and they like saved this place. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Get back to
Stay
us.
tuned. But Paul Rudd, he drops them off, and he goes to Walmart to get ice cream. But then he notices all the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, and they're fucking hilarious.
I think they're terrifying.
They are.
I find them incredibly terrifying.
They're
Right.
so
Melting
fucking
themselves on
morbid,
grills.
dude.
Yeah.
Or like they like run one over and just splatters everywhere.
Throw another one in the blender.
In the blender, that one when he's like trying to do the air whatever skydiving thing with the blades, but then he bounces around and then it just splats him all over the sides of the blender. I'm like, oh my God, they're so gross. I love them, but they're kind of terrifying.
But that's the first time you see the terror dog in the practical effects.
Yes.
Because that looked so fucking good.
Yeah.
So
they put
good.
a lot of time and effort into that.
And it's well worth it. But like you were saying, the chasing out, that was hilarious when it explodes out of the sliding.
Yep.
There's nobody else in this store. Did anybody else notice that?
No, it's obviously prior to COVID because Walmart is open late.
Right.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's late night Walmart run. Dude, I get that. I used to do that shit too.
Oh, me too, all the time. I don't want the people around.
Right.
Give me the terror dogs, not the
I
people.
think we only heard like maybe a scream and a crash was the only thing we heard.
Yeah, like maybe
within there.
some night stalking.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
workers.
talking back to the movie. I thought this was like a regular Walmart experience for you.
I mean,
No,
sure, yeah.
in the movie Walmart.
that too.
Get your finger out of there.
There's a lot of weird things that happen at Walmart after dark.
Oh, I know. But he gets in the car, and then the terror dog is on it, and then you hear the tires pop, and then that subtle comedic moment I just fucking loved. But this is where the mom finds out, like, because it cuts to the mom finding the...
Was it Spengler does the same thing that he did to Phoebe with her.
But the pictures of her, maybe it might have been the next day.
But
But she goes downstairs and notices that he was keeping track and he cared about her, and everything's starting to come together. Why he was there and what's going on. But
Yep.
then you see that cloud of dust, whatever, cloud of smoke.
yes.
Yeah, it was Zool. So she's possessed now.
Yep.
and that was identical to how she took Zool took Sigourney Weaver as well.
Oh, I thought she got pulled into the fridge.
But the mist, like, because it was like coming out of her bathroom in her fridge.
I don't remember. Oh, I remember the fridge, but I
Yeah.
don't remember the bathroom.
Yes, because when Sigourney Weaver is actually taken, so the chair, when she gets grabbed by the chair, the chair gets pulled back and it gets actually pulled into the bathroom.
Oh, I thought it was into the fridge.
So mom gets possessed right after she realizes that her father actually did give a shit about her and had pictures of her all over his lab and obviously missed his daughter, but there was a reason for him moving out here and separating himself from that.
Dude, their tie to the original movie was so fucking genius with the architect that made that building for the original Ghostbuster being their first gate for Gozer. And then and then what was it? The kids figured, or Phoebe figured out earlier on that it was like everything was made with like high selenium or whatever.
Yep.
And it was the same thing. They mentioned it in the original Ghostbusters as well about that was weird about the architecture.
Okay.
And then ended up being the gate for Gozer. And then and then all that shit was milled from this town.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's there's a lot of different links.
Oh, it ties so
There's
magnificently.
tons of
Right.
them. I was
Yeah.
reading, I had to stop myself because I'm like, there's so much shit that I could just go through, but
But what was it? Because that was when the kids went to when they initially go to the mine. That's when they find the basement, or they keep going down the tunnels, and I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but I think that's in the same act.
yeah, so we do talk about Phoebe podcast Lucky and Trevor go back to the ruins, discovering a device Egon made to keep Gozer from crossing over again. So we did touch on that on Act 2.
Okay.
In Act 2.
And that whole thing was genius too. The only weird thing I thought was strange was that architect was still there in that that sealed coffin, and
Start over. What'd you say?
the architect, the dude who made the building.
Okay, you said
and
architect. I'm thinking architecture.
Yeah. No, the person himself,
Mm-hmm.
like, and Spengler was there as well. So like, I just thought it was very strange that was.
He was preserved and sitting there.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that, and then his demise is so quickly as well. So I just like, okay,
Yeah, that was kind of an
That was
odd
the
thing
only
to
Some-
add in, I
Something that
guess.
was not needed.
it was
Yeah.
completely unnecessary.
It was great seeing that actor, though. I love seeing that actor. I
Right.
forget his name, but
Yeah. Well, in podcasts, watching him wake up and be like, I don't think he's dead. I think he's still alive. So the
Right.
kids grab the rest of the equipment from the police station and head for the mine to rescue their mother. Phoebe distracts Gozer so Podcast can capture Zool, freeing Callie and weakening Gozer. They lure Gozer to the farmhouse and use the trap field, but it malfunctions yet again, allowing Gozer to free Zool, who now possesses Lucky. Ray, Peter, and Winston arrive, restraining Gozer. Trevor uses his proton pack to charge the traps, and Callie activates them, capturing Gozer and its minions. The ghost of Egon reconciles with his family and friends before vanishing, finally being set free.
when the terror dogs meet, like the two possessed people, they meet up, and Paul Rudd, he awkwardly like gallops over.
his Paul Rudd awkward shit.
Yes,
he does.
I fucking love it. And
yeah.
there's an interview of him saying it was like so goofy playing this fucking role, but it was so much fun at the same time. But I love it. He's like, I like your eyes. And she's like, thanks. It's just like, thanks. Or something. Like, he said, you're welcome, or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, what the fuck? I rewound that a couple times when I was taking notes.
Yeah.
It's like, did she actually say something, or no?
Oh.
Nothing. Just, the fuck? They basically hooked up.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't dawn on me that in the original movie that Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis had sex.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't click then. It didn't, and then it finally clicked. I was like, oh, that scene makes a lot more sense to me now.
That's what happened.
They need to come together.
Doggy style.
Are you the gatekeeper? Anyway, Gozer. Did you notice who plays Gozer?
No. She looked ish familiar, but
It's Keira Knightley.
No.
no.
No. What's her name?
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde.
Did you
Oh,
find that?
that is her.
I get
Yeah.
them mixed up.
She's uncredited.
She is uncredited, and Olivia Wilde plays Gozer.
But yeah. Like,
Oh.
how many seasons of House was she on?
Oh, all but maybe 3.
And then she was in The Lazarus Effect, which was a decent horror movie. Mm-hmm.
I always
She
get
looked
her-
very
Familiar.
close to the original Gozer. But
Yeah.
it just looks like an 80s music video. What did I write down? I
Yeah,
wrote
her
something.
makeup and costume was baller.
That was one thing, definitely, that this new age did such justice for Gozer, looking way cooler.
Yeah, yeah. She looked awesome and terrifying at the same time. But yeah, Olivia Wilde, she crushed it. But
Yeah.
she was uncredited.
Yeah, I think she chose to do that. Mm-hmm. That was her decision.
But she was a good fit.
She did great, and
Oh,
she didn't do this thing like, all right, you know when she's throwing her powers and doing stuff. For some reason, it's always female actresses, but they do it like even what's her name that played Scarlet Witch did it.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen. She did it in Doctor Strange. They kind of I don't know. They over exaggerate their hand motions, and it just looks cheesy. Like the woman who played the Invisible Woman in Fantastic Four. I forget her name.
my God.
Oh, I
Jessica.
forget. Jessica Alba.
Jessica
that
Alba.
Alba.
But she does this weird thing with her hand and her head at the same time. But anyway, Olivia Wilde did not do this.
No,
and
she
I was
didn't.
so happy that she did. Like she did it perfectly. Like the hand motions with the electricity coming out. It looked like she was throwing energy. I think that's what it's missing because they do this. They try to act fluid but creepy, or like act like they have
like
powers.
the powers flowing through them. Yeah.
And it just looks kind of dull. This was great. It actually made me feel like there were powers coming through her.
Yeah, she did a great job.
So then you see the original cast, and like this whole movie, like I can see why people get pissed off because it's just one big nostalgia fest, and nostalgia sells right now. But I enjoyed it. Like I thought
I
the
thought
tie-in,
it was great. I don't. Yeah.
the tie-in to like the explanation as to what happened when they called Dan Aykroyd, and he gives him a breakdown of what happened, where Egon, why Egon is in Oklahoma, or kind of. Like he just said, he packed up all the shit and left. So you have a little bit of it, and then they all come in, and it's like, holy shit! Like I was excited.
Right.
Oh yeah, the
Bill Murray
entrance.
looks like shit.
Oh, Bill.
No offense, but he looks so bad.
He's the only one that's not taking adrenochrome.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
He's getting older. He's getting up there in his years.
Dude, I guess Dan Aykroyd looks a little, aged, but like fucking.
He has lost a lot of weight. Like the past 10 years, I think he's lost a good 150 pounds.
Yeah, he did lose.
So
a
he
lot.
was a chunky monkey.
Wow.
A chunkier monkey than he is.
But Winston and Annie Potts, those two look fantastic. Mm-hmm. Winston looks the same.
They don't. Yeah, they don't look like
He
they've
doesn't
aged.
look. He's aged a day.
Right.
Who are you gonna call?
He-Man.
I was happy that Bill Murray that Dan Aykroyd got to respond to Flat Top the way he wanted to. If the question of, if someone asks you if you're a god, they're like, Ray. He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because the last time he
No.
Yes.
but it like they
Then
destroy Gozer or capture Gozer, what have you. The heartfelt moment with Egon.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought, for one, I thought Egon looked great, and like you mentioned earlier, the since he's kind of an apparition,
yeah.
they could get away with some of the
Just the small hints.
yeah, but they could get away with some of the computer animation stuff, like how it'll look kind of like plasticky.
Yeah.
That you didn't have any of that.
Plasticky is a good way to describe it. Yes. Yeah.
But you didn't have that with Egon. It was a heartfelt moment. It wasn't like I'm gonna cry, but
But it was a good.
If you are a Ghostbusters fan, you were creaming your pants.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great way to end the film. I think.
But yeah, all in all, I think the movie was good. And then the end credits was
Oh, the credit scenes. I'm so happy I looked for those. I wasn't sure. Because, like, at the end, I was just like, this can't be done, right? There's gonna be a little something.
But then Winston had the firehouse the whole time.
Well, didn't Ray say that it was a Starbucks?
Yeah.
No, but it wasn't. Yeah.
So he probably bought it, put a Starbucks sign up in front, and then just had it closed on the doors. I don't know.
I want to know what Winston did to get so fucking rich. I mean, obviously he said he started with a small business and went to an enterprise, whatever. But I want to know what you selling.
Well, you might have another installment.
Yeah.
Good.
Actually,
I'm
I think
down
I read.
for
I
that.
think I read they decided not to.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think I read that. I could be
I
mistaken.
didn't. Well, shit.
I can't remember.
So at this point in the podcast is where we rate this movie with our new and improved, not really, rating system.
we added something.
Right. We're doing the 1, 2, 3 point system or star. Haven't decided yet on that one. So 1 being one and done, 2 being a rent, watch, occasionally points, and then 3 being we're gonna own it, we love it, watch it at all points. 3 being the highest.
All right, should we start off with Tessa?
Tessa.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's a 2. It's a 2 for me. Not that I don't think that it was great. And there's still maybe times I think for me where like if I need to watch a random movie or if I want to, that I will watch this. But it's a rent and watch occasionally for me. I think I would like to watch it again, like maybe around Halloween, or have it kind of as a go-to for the week before Halloween when you watch your scary movies and stuff. But it's not something that I would watch all the time, I don't think. So yeah, it's a 2 for me.
What about you, Ben?
It's a 3 for me. Exactly for the reason you said, though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because like that to me is why you would own a movie. My collection is 10 times bigger than yours.
Ben's
So-
collection is vast.
So I like having that on hand. You know, if it's Halloween, let's watch one of the Ghostbusters movies or Evil Dead. What you know?
That's true. He keeps more movies than I do.
I want to be able to have that on hand. You know, so like a 2 to me would be like it was okay. I might watch it once a year, or if somebody comes over like a couple years down the road and is like, "Have you ever seen that?" Oh, yeah, it was okay. If you want to watch it, we can rent it. You know, that kind of thing.
You like pop it on at fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, for people to watch.
Yep. So yeah, it's definitely a 3 for me. It was a 2 initially, but after the second watch, I enjoyed it more the second watch than I did the first.
Okay.
Because on the first watch, I was just like, It's just a big nostalgia fest, you know.
But
Yeah.
it is so tied so well to the original.
And that's what I started picking up the second watch.
Yeah. It's
So-
obviously a 3 for me.
All right.
Like when I show my daughters the fucking first Ghostbusters, I'm have to just like, all right, well, now we're gonna watch the new version of it.
I can see that.
Don't forget Ghostbusters 2.
Dude, Vigo can suck a dick. I'd
I'd rather him not. He'd probably bite it off. Creepy.
like I the second one's fine. I do like the second one, but I obviously I love the first one. I think this one is just. I think it's like a good mix of showing like an old film and then showing the newer version of it.
Okay.
I do agree with that.
Like, and this movie was done, I think, just so great. Yeah, it was a nostalgia fest for sure, but the way it was tied was genius. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. Like I said, we could have gone without the kid from Stranger Things. He was a little unnecessary.
He was filling. And he's getting older, so he's just growing into his body and it became all gangly.
Oh God, you should have seen him in the latest season of Stranger Things.
Oh, I
Actually,
did.
he's even worse.
Really quick, I do want to bring up like how I grew was 12 to 13. I started getting wider. And then 14 to 15, I shot up like a fucking rocket. Like it was weird. I started becoming this chubby kid, and then like I started growing this way, and then horizontally, and then I started growing vertically.
And now you're shrinking.
Yes, probably. So I'm gonna get back to the horizontal.
Oh shit.
Anybody want some pudding?
Well, that means
right,
it's
Muncher.
your choice next episode, right? What movie are we doing?
All right, so I have to give a little explanation as to why I chose it first, but I decided to break out of the norm and go with somebody on the special effects department because I'm always like,
Special effects. Oh my God, look at the special effects.
every movie. So I went with Craig, parentheses, Tex Barnett. He was a special effects foreman for this movie, and he's done movies like Red Notice, Schindler's List, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a couple of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and Sky High, which is the movie that I'm choosing. I know it's super dumb and super cheesy, but it's got something in my heart. I always like watching superhero origin story movies.
That plus it's got fucking
Kurt Russell,
Kurt
bro.
Russell
Kurt
in it,
Russell.
dude. It's like
It's-
come the fuck on.
It's got half the fucking cast of New Kids in the Hall. It's got half
Plus
the
the-
cast of the Broken Lizard.
The kid,
Yep.
the kid who plays the main character, I only know him from Sky High
Same.
and Forbidden Kingdom or Lost Kingdom or whatever it's called with Jackie Chan and Jet Li, where he's like that kid who's super into kung fu, and then like he gets sent back
yeah.
in time and finds out like the dude he was buying kung fu films from.
I thought you were gonna say the Dragon Ball Z live version.
So I know.
No, speaking of Walmart at late at night, back then we would always go look at the DVD section. I would grab the entire stack of Dragon Ball Evolution, drop it behind the rack.
I own that. I bought it. I bought it.
I bought
just
it
because
too.
it's fun. It's
I bought it too to watch it, and then I threw it away.
it's like I bought it sarcastically.
Unironically, I bought this.
Yeah. But you learned how to dance sarcastically? But yeah, I bought it sarcastically. It's on my shelf.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
But anyway, so yeah, we're going with Sky High for the next movie, and we're following somebody that was in the special effects department. If you get bored, look up his resume. It's Tex Barnett. Craig Tex Barnett. It's holy shit.
Quite extensive.
He was a busy boy. Still is. But on that note, should we tell everybody to fuck off?
Yeah, it's that time.
Yep.
And you guys too. It's time to go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Go fuck yourself.
Just kidding. We love you.
Later.
Thanks for listening.
Love you.
Yeah, she knows it's a moment.
Of filmed Grease.